and I'll never back down. In the middle of the ring is where I lay the SmackDown. Against all odds, I will always prevail. So when you step to me, it's like hell in a cell.
Greetings and salutations, this is Christopher Daniels. I'm talking to my main man Delzinski right now. Any video game show, any video game channel, any YouTube channel called Vintage Shizzle is indeed hashtag Daniels approved.
Yo! Alright guys, Delzinski here. Welcome to another We Talk. It's We Talk Wednesday. And as per usual, I am joined by the Professor. It is Weeds. How are you doing, mate?
I'm absolutely fine. I am suffering a little bit from wrestling overload because I don't think I have ever watched so much wrestling in such a short space of time. It's literally been Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't even know what day it is. That's how bad it is. I don't even know what day it is. I woke up at 2:30 last night, UK time, and randomly put the main event of SmackDown on, which I'm sure we'll come on to later. But yeah, I've never, ever got so much wrestling into my system than I have in the last bloody week.
Has it all been good?
I don't remember.
It's just
majority. Well, it started off bloody well with NXT, which I'm sure we are going to cover in some detail today. And yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. It's gone up and down. It's been like the TLC card.
Yeah.
You see what I did there? See what I did?
Yeah, we're going to talk today about NXT TakeOver, which was awesome. We're going to talk about tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. And then we're going to cover a bit of Raw. And we'll also talk about an FPW show that we went to over the weekend where we got to see Grado and many, many more. So, let's talk about the good stuff first. Let's talk about NXT TakeOver first, because I have to say it was awesome. I've already said that. But I have to also say that this is pro wrestling. And that's something that Vince McMahon doesn't like to talk about. He likes to talk about sports entertainment, but I and you like to talk about pro wrestling. And NXT is exactly that.
It's all right.
Yeah, all right.
It was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. It had everything, didn't it? Everything from amazing debuts to awesome tag team matches. Even, you know, the women's championship match. Thank God we got to see Charlotte Flair and Sasha Banks in an actual proper match rather than that bullshit they put on Raw the week before. And it doesn't get really much better than Zayn v Neville, does it? And I didn't think they were going to top their match of the year candidate, but I thought they surpassed it.
Yeah, and this was the whole thing about this event. It was numerous storytelling, character building, everything that the main show isn't. So I just can't believe how different the two products are, and how the lesser product, well, that's what we call it, but it's not, is far superior to the main product. And I'm not like gonna, you know, I'm not gonna hide my feelings about this. I think that NXT is by far a much better product than Raw, SmackDown, and the main pay-per-views at the moment. And this show proved it. I mean, Kevin Owens' debut to start with was just brilliant. I mean, when I started watching the show, I thought to myself, oh, you're going to kick off with this. I mean, I didn't know whose music that was to start, but once Kevin Owens came out, Kevin Steen, he hit the ring, and it was just like smash mouth action. And it literally was for him, because I think he got his nose broken. So
yeah, CJ Parker, we were debating at the weekend whether or not he did it on purpose. Because I haven't seen many punches, you know, coming flying out of a corner like that. But yeah, he split him wide open, didn't he? And it felt like they suddenly thought, oh, bollocks, we better wind this up as quickly as possible. And obviously Owens was like, oh, whoa, I've got to get all my stuff in before this finishes. And yeah, it was a great debut, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, it was his moment, and I don't think he wanted, like, they were trying to, you know, get those gloves out. We saw those gloves at TLC as well, but he had those gloves out, trying to make sure he's all right, but he was having none of it, and it was all for him making an impact, and he really did do that, and he obviously did it later on in the night as well. But I just thought that this was this is the way you start a show, and something that the main product has failed to do on numerous comebacks, numerous debuts. Actually, just have it, with a bang. And there's two things that happened on this NXT TakeOver show that I thought, is something that the main product could learn from. Kevin Steen's debut, Kevin Owens' debut, and Finn Balor's ultimate entrance, because that was probably one of my favourite moments in wrestling in a long time, because WWE got something right, which I thought they could maybe screw up massively. And I actually thought that we're kind of jumping a little bit, but I was just going to say that Finn Balor's entrance was better than Sting's debut, in my opinion.
Well, it was awesome. I'll definitely give you that. I think it's great how they're embracing where Finn Balor, obviously Fergal Devitt, has come from. And I think that's important. And there's a couple of points, I suppose, to raise just with the guys in that match. Because you've obviously got it's Hideo Itami, isn't it?
Yeah.
Formerly known as Kenta. Don't call him Kenta in an NXT ring, as I think you pointed out to me. It got booed the shit out of, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And just to add one note on that is the difference, again, between the two products. The NXT crowd is so into this product that even a slight reference outside of the product, they're like having none of it. Whereas you look at the main product and things like CM Punk is chanted endlessly all night because, they're rebelling against a bad product. And, that's a big difference. I'll let you talk.
No, I think just what you said there is absolutely spot on. Is that they want to be invested in the product like we all do in the main one. And the difference is a lot of the time with NXT, you got, I would imagine, Triple H booking it rather than Vince McMahon, which we've gone into great depth, haven't we, on many OE talk. But I don't know what you thought about Finn Balor, but did you think it detracted from Itami at all? Did you very much feel he was in the background until he did the or mimicked to do the GTS?
Not necessarily, because I thought they all had their own individual gimmicks. So obviously the main focus was Balor on the night because they had to showcase that face paint and that look that he's got, and they did that perfectly. But in addition to that,
obviously he got the hot tag, didn't he, from Itami, and the Ascension obviously spent most of the time beating him up.
But I think that Itami will have his own moment, and I think that on the night at TakeOver, that was Balor's moment, and I could see some point down the line Finn Balor being the heel and Itami being the face, and these two,
completely
kicking
agree.
off. So I just thought it all worked. The light show as well, just to say on that entrance, to the music and the production.
I think it was someone gave an interview recently where they were talking about Balor. I think we discussed it briefly last week, where he just said he hadn't really appreciated the amount of production value that goes into the WWE product. And that entrance, I think I've watched it about 10 times already. Awesome. I'm sure you're the same, considering the text you sent me halfway through on the Sunday saying, I am now a Finn Balor mark.
Yeah, I mean, I liked Devitt before he came in to WWE, but always had reservations about what they do with him. Thought they would never go for the face paint, but they just did it 100% justice. The way they brought him in, I think actually the build for him to have the face paint has worked perfectly as well. It's not just been, full throttle, send him in. Where they did do that with Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, they did do that with him, but it worked. But they saved this moment for a big event, and that's what I liked about it. I liked every element, and I did like Itami going for the GTS because it is his move, and he should be able to use it, and he shouldn't not be allowed to use it just because somebody used to use it.
Well, I can't wait for him to use it in UFC.
God, the crowd went mental. Tongue
in cheek. Obviously, the Ascension vignettes have started, haven't they, on Raw and SmackDown? How do you reckon they're fair on well, I'm going to call it the bigger show, the main brand at the moment, even though neither of us really like it?
Well, there isn't a tag team division, so they're going to probably quite like it because they're going to clean up, aren't they? But
I mean, can you imagine, how do they fit in the Ascension, this all-powering Demolition, Legion of Doom kind of Road Warriors team, against the Miz and Mizdow?
Well, I don't think they'll be the guys.
Go, does it?
They're not going to be the guys they run into. I think those belts will be gone by that time. Probably back with the Usos. I could see
have got a bit of an edge coming to them, haven't they? But I do wonder, because I suppose we're both sitting here a little bit apprehensive, thinking, they've built the Ascension up over a considerable amount of time. Please don't fuck it up.
Well, yeah, and is it going to be one of those things where they don't feel that these guys are going to be all right on their own, so they pair them up with someone, which is always, not good, because WWE aren't very good at keeping factions together at the moment. They just seem to obliterate them, like they did with the Wyatts over TLC. But it's just, that is the big worry, isn't it? All these guys that step up from NXT, sometimes
Roman Reigns turned up, didn't he?
TakeOver.
Yeah, it was just
he got booed.
Random. It just feels like he's been forced, and we talked about this again last week, and the amount of Roman Reigns coverage we've had other than FPW, I think he's been on every show I've watched.
I was surprised he didn't rock up there, to be honest. But the reason why I think that he got booed at TakeOver, maybe not as such that he was there. I think it was more the boo about that he got the match. He got Superstar, of the year. Nah.
We told us enough times again, and I'm sure we'll come on to Roman Reigns during Raw and TLC in particular. But I didn't understand why you. It was like, when you're trying to latch onto the cool kids.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like. Obviously, Charlotte had a far better match, didn't she? An actual real match, shall we say, rather than that crap she had to suffer for 5 minutes against Natalya, which is possibly, and I think we said this again last week, it's possibly the worst debut I have ever encountered on WWE Raw for someone who is going to be an absolute star for the company.
Yeah, it was really simple for them to do it right, wasn't it? They going into this NXT TakeOver pay-per-view event, all they had to do, and we said it last week, was have Sasha Banks maybe interfere, maybe even get Charlotte disqualified, and it wouldn't have hurt her one bit. But instead, no, she just lost, and it was totally pointless and damaging to somebody that's soon going to step up, we imagine.
But I don't get what their strategy is with the network at the moment, because it's not getting a lot of coverage on Raw at the moment, especially with it being USA Network. I think the $9.99 joke has finally died a death, thank God. But it's like you were saying, if I've got this great product on the network, which is NXT, how am I not, when they're doing stuff between sections in Raw, and rather than having these ultimately long sections, maybe show something that happened on NXT, especially on SmackDown, where it is taped and recorded, and they always do fit in a little bit of Raw. Why not promote your other product? Because this is what people are going to subscribe to the network for. And like you say, it was an ideal opportunity last week, which was to get Sasha Banks interfere in that match, and then say, have them actually have a proper brawl and build it into what was another great match on NXT.
Yeah, they just completely stuffed it up. But that's what we're coming accustomed to now, is the mucking up on the main show, and then NXT sort of fixing the error. And it was annoying, because this match was great, and it felt like they were given an allocation of time, a decent allocation of time, unlike you get with Divas matches on the main show. So they were given just as much time as some of the guys, and they did it justice. And that was what was great about it. It wasn't a Divas match, it was a women's match. And as per usual, as we keep on going back and forth here, and it's so crystal clear for, I believe, us fans to see, is that if you focus on wrestling, you get a good product, and that's the issue.
It was, and I think Stone Cold hit on it in the podcast with Vince. Is this sports entertainment, or is this pro wrestling? Because I don't tune in to go and see sports entertainment. Yeah, I don't mind the odd comic section, but to be honest, TLC, Miz and Sandow, that's all I want to see, comic section, and I don't want it to be as long as that match was. I don't mind comedy in the right place, and again, arguably, with the Miz and Sandow, is that even in the right place when you've got an important one of your important championships on the line, and then most of the time you're just watching Miz not tag in Sandow or Mizdow, sorry, and then when Mizdow does get in, it's over in a couple of minutes. The same thing all the time. I actually, as much as I do like Mizdow, and I really do like the character, and I do like Miz, I don't want this to be my tag team division. I want it to actually be a competitive division where it actually means something. And I suppose coming back to NXT, and before we move on to Zayn and Neville, is that every match on this card felt like it meant something. And that's all I want from a wrestling show. I don't want a skit every 5 minutes where you've got Kurt Angle in a little cowboy hat or whatever it is. Even though some of these bits are funny, a lot of the time, more often than not, the comedy's going to miss on WWE, and it doesn't just miss; it misses by a mile, and no more is it missing by a mile at the moment than it is with the new frigging day. I mean that gimmick's dead already. I mean, isn't it? You've only got to see the reaction the Detroit crowd gave it on Monday. It was just silence. They couldn't even be asked to boo.
Well, I think this is the big problem, is it's gimmicks that don't connect as well, whereas
it's just out of touch. And this is where Vince said, he does listen to his WWE universe. Does he bollocks? No,
he doesn't. And if you look at the difference in comparison, so you've got everything on NXT, like you said, had a purpose, but it also on top had good gimmicks coming in. So Kevin Owens is based off of based off Kevin Steen anyway, full stop.
It's Kevin Steen.
That's all it is. So they haven't messed around with the gimmick. It works. Well done, WWE, for not touching it. Then you've got guys like, we've got Finn Balor. You didn't touch his gimmick. You just gave him a new name. It works. Hideo Itami. It works. They're all fine. The Ascension, you gave a good gimmick to, and the crowd get thoroughly behind this. We haven't seen a dominant tag team like this in a long time. Again, has a lot of purpose. The Zayn and Neville feud, between the two, obviously, it's a lot of emotion. There was something on the line. If Zayn didn't win the match, he would be gone. And then going into the women's match, I've kind of gone the wrong way around it, but in the women's match, it was all about Sasha Banks, trying to topple Charlotte. And, these two had a rivalry. They were former friends. And that's what I liked about this match as well. It had a good storyline, a good build, and that's the whole show. And that's what a pay-per-view is all about, because you've come into it with the perfect build-up, and then you got your big payoff with the match. It wasn't overdone. There wasn't so many ridiculous spots. It was just good wrestling, and it
was their best match, I thought, those two have had.
That's why everyone's a fan of it. And what I liked about, again, with the Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair is Charlotte Flair's got her own gimmick, the woo, and she's quite straight talking and she's a good wrestler. And then you've got someone arrogant, cocky, like Sasha Banks. And they're both not faces, but the crowd sways because they like the person. They like the gimmick.
They're just themselves.
You're choosing who you're actually supporting. Whereas in the WWE, and we'll take a great example of a John Cena and now jump into a Roman Reigns, you're not getting that choice. You're being told to like Roman Reigns, and that's where it's all wrong. And like you said, it's amazing. It's amazing how Vince cannot really grasp the difference. And if he thinks, like I say, I don't get it. Does he watch NXT?
No, totally. I mean, if you want, like you just said, if you want Reigns to get half booed like Cena, keep giving him scripted promos. He'll keep stuffing him up. Just let him be himself. He's got enough just by being a badass kind of, I'm going to kick everyone in my way. Let him do that. He'll be absolutely fine. He doesn't need to try and recite something where he's got to get the word decade or whatever it was the other day that he managed to screw up, when all he's doing is announcing, I'm going to be in the frigging Royal Rumble. That's it. That's all you've got to do. It's just going to say 29 other guys got to go through me, and that's it. John Cena thinks he's number. I'm number. Yeah, that's all you got to do. It's not difficult. You give him words that aren't his words, and you can see the problems he ran into. And it's taken a week of us having him being told he's got a full superstar of the frigging year down our throat for people to start to turn on him. And it's not that big of a turn. And I still don't think the damage has been done. I think how he's come back has worked. Mm-hmm. But the damage can be done really, really quickly, in my opinion. But I suppose then, taking us back to NXT, because I'm sure we're going to cover Reigns in a bit more detail later. Zayn and Neville. It was pretty boring, weren't it?
No, it was not at all. One thing, just before we do jump, I just wanted to say one thing. What was really nice was that, well, it wasn't nice because I actually wanted Sasha Banks to win. All I will say is, did you not find it nice that that was a surprise that potentially Sasha Banks didn't win? So although I wanted her to win, I was kind of like, whoa, she didn't win. And it was kind of, the thought process was that she would get the big win, and she didn't. And that's like a shock factor. And that's what I liked about that as well, because I was rooting for her to win. I didn't get it, but I felt, it doesn't damage her in any way because she put on a great performance, and I think there's more to come. And that's what I don't ever get from the main show. I never get that feeling.
There's definitely more to come. And coming from the main show, where the hell is Paige? But
now we'll move on.
Now I got, after the loss on Monday for Charlotte, I couldn't see her losing NXT because I'd just be like, you would be WWE and killing her in 2 matches flat. So no, I thought she'd be fine. So Zayn and Neville.
Well,
it's rubbish.
You're going to get loads of hatred for that one. Perfect match, really.
Yeah,
told it emotion, storytelling. There's a lot on the line. It's not just about the belt. It's about Sami Zayn. It was about whether he could get the job done. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't about being a Superman. It was just being whether he could actually finally grasp that gold. And it was just brilliant.
That match is why I watch wrestling. That is why I like wrestling. I think for a majority of people out there, you don't really need to say a lot more than that, do you?
When you thought there was going to be like a dry moment or a moment where you thought you could catch your breath, something else happened. So when I'll give you a good example, when I thought it was slowing down just a little bit, and Adrian Neville rolled out the ring, and then all of a sudden it's that tornado DDT through the ring post side. It was just things like that. Just picked up the pace, took the pace down.
Yeah. Do not underestimate the job the commentators did on this, because it was fantastic the whole way through the card, and particularly this last match. It was built up, told a story in the right way, particularly with Neville as well, because obviously a lot of the focus was on Zayn, but obviously we got inside the mind of Neville as well, and it was good, like you say, how he was rolling out the ring, and they're actually picking up that he was rolling out the ring to catch his breath. It's a veteran move, what a champion does. I loved everything about this match.
You got to give credit to Corey Graves because it was his first night on commentary, and I think he did a pretty good job. And
fuck yeah,
you heard that as well, yeah? Because I thought I was the only one for a moment, but he definitely did swear. But I mean, again, the emotion coming into things, it shouldn't matter so much, and I thought that he did a good job. And the best bit about the NXT commentary team, regardless of which one it is, whether it's Renee Young, whether they rotate it, because they do seem to keep playing around with that commentary team, is that none of them oversell the product. It's all focused on the wrestling. Again, a massive difference to the Three Stooges that we've got on Monday Night Raw, who were talking utter bollocks at TLC. And all I'll say on one note, because obviously we're talking about Neville and Zayn, is what the fuck happened to Michael Cole in that main event? He got wiped out, but he never misses his spot because he got straight up and was back in there for that final moment in that final match. I just wanted him to be wiped out for good, and JBL's headset to be broken forever.
No, not just like 5 minutes. It wasn't long enough, was it?
It was.
I was like, come on, do the spot. Do the spot there, right in front of them. Just wipe all 3 of them out. Actually, keep King. I don't mind King.
King didn't give a shit. This was the best moment for him. He was like, yeah, you stay down. I want to talk. Stupid.
But yeah, Zayn and Neville, as I say, it had absolutely everything.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
And I loved the celebration at the end when the roster came out, and obviously even Neville, they did the whole hand thing and he kicked it away and then they hugged. It was great, and they had the confetti. And I, for one, did not see Kevin Owens doing that on the ramp on the way up. I don't know about you.
Let me ask you something on that, because there's a mixed reaction of that, whether or not they should have done that, because a lot of people are saying, well, do they really want to see, I'll refer to the old names of Steen and El Generico. Do you want to see that? Because you've seen that in Ring of Honor. And do people...
seen it in WWE.
But do people really want to see that? And was it the right time to do that when... obviously Kevin Owens making his debut was so over with those fans. Obviously that was going for the shock factor, but should it have been done at this point in time? Or should they have let Kevin Owens have his moment as a face and let him go forward a bit as a face before ultimately nailing you with the heel turn, which has come very quickly and very soon, considering his debut was quite hyped and the crowd were behind him.
I'm not going to lie, I loved it. I
thought it was good.
I don't mind that they've had matches in other places. As I said, they haven't had it in WWE. And if you like wrestling, that is ultimately where all these wrestlers, the majority of them, want to end up. And to have it happen on that stage, and the amount of production and things that WWE can put into there, this will be the memorable one. No matter how many good matches they've had before, this will be the one that majority of wrestling fans will remember. So I think it has to happen. I don't mind. I think we've all seen Zayn and Neville an awful lot. So I like the fact that there's so much material they can use. I don't mind that it's come early. Again, because that gives Owens a lot of material he can use, that you all fell for me, and I don't need you guys. I don't need the fans. I do have, as you can probably tell, I have no issue with it whatsoever.
He's already made, isn't he, to be honest, Kevin Owens? And the same,
as I said, we've been waiting 13 years.
The same a little bit with Fergal Devitt. Just maybe Mike Skills is Fergal's downfall a little bit, but I mean, he seems to be. But I've seen, his build to going into his match with the Ascension. He looks like he's getting more comfortable and confident. There's no question that he's comfortable, because you wouldn't have been able to do that entrance if you weren't. But like I say, these guys are already almost made for the big time.
They're ready. Those two in particular, Devitt or Balor and Owens / Steen, are both. They could go and be pretty far up the main roster, I would imagine, straight away. But the fact is, we're going to get to, and the amount of matches we're going to get to see these guys go up against each other is going to be phenomenal in the next 12 to 18 months. They don't normally move them up very quickly. There have been instances where it's been about 6 and they're suddenly, bosh, up you go. But I think these guys are going to be down, because they're going to build the card around these for the next couple of years. Hopefully get NXT on WrestleMania in some way, though. Would be good. 2
things that I'll say to sort of sum it up with NXT is, number one, I think it's quite clear to say that this isn't the future. This is the here and the now, and they are ready. And, WWE needs to begin to realise that. And the only other question that I'll throw at you, Weeds, is does Adrian Neville go up now?
I hope not.
Because where on earth is he going to slot into this product that we're going to talk about in a few moments, where, quite frankly,
I was going to say,
there is nowhere I can see him going and making an impact or getting a credible run at the moment. So
not at the moment, not with where they can't properly define Ziggler still, and Rollins to some degree, which I'm sure we'll come on to again. So no, I would keep him in NXT for a while longer. They probably won't, though. So moving from something awesome, let's talk. Come on, it weren't that bad. I liked parts of it.
It's a bit underwhelming, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. So we're going from takeover to tables, ladders, chairs.
Well, this is part of the bullshit you get with WWE, isn't it? Because the fact that I hate that they have all these pay-per-views, and I'm actually quite happy that they've got rid of Elimination Chamber, though I would imagine they'll probably stick it in later on in the year.
Back on Survivor Series, that chamber, like it used to.
But I just hate it. Why do we have to have these pay-per-views where just because it's called TLC, we've got to have a frigging TLC match on it, or Elimination Chamber, we've got to have an Elimination Chamber match? The idea I always thought with a wrestling feud was you started with your singles matches, you built up, you actually got an angle that could work, and then if you needed to have a first blood match or a hardcore match to sort out a proper rivalry, that's when it happened. It didn't say, oh, what can we do with Kane and Ryback? Let's have a friggin' chairs match. I hate it. I literally hate it. Book it properly with proper matches that are built up with proper angles, and not just say, oh, right, what do we do with Cena and Rollins here? Let's put them in a tables match, because it makes no sense whatsoever that they're having a tables match other than it's a gimmick match on a pay-per-view.
So,
rant over.
On that note, the first match was Ziggler Harper, which a lot of people are saying is the best match on the card. And
should just stop there.
I thought I'm going to be really negative on this whole pay-per-view, but I thought it was all right. I wouldn't say it was anything phenomenal. I didn't say it was anything better than TakeOver. I thought TakeOver, everything was better than this card and this pay-per-view. But what I will say on it is the element of blood came up a fair bit in this pay-per-view. Now, WWE haven't shown blood for yonks, and they have refused to show it, but they
Can't cut to commercial in a pay-per-view.
But they weren't exactly shying away from camera angles to avoid the blood at this event. There were numerous times where they were focusing on, Harper, Ziggler, and I kind of thought, are they trying to maybe slip back that element into their game a little bit to try and liven things up after seeing how it went with Kevin Owens?
Yeah, I think these two intentionally. Harper and Ziggler went in there with, let's not worry if we get nicked up a little bit, because there was a lot of ladder and headshots that eventually one of them is going to open them up. There's some crazy bumps in there, particularly Luke Harper, but I suppose the worry they maybe had was Harper is a bit of a unit. How's he going to get on in a ladder match? For me, he passed with flying colours, but they did do some crazy stuff. Now, the problem with that is that you start so high that you can only really go down low throughout the rest of the pay-per-view, which had an awful lot of matches on it. But I thought it was great that Ziggler got the win in front of his home crowd. It was really loud. And it made sense that they put the belt back on him because are they moving him up the program? Or is he going to be, the guy that steals the show every night?
I just don't feel that the Intercontinental Championship is gaining any more credibility from any of these title runs that it's being given to. I feel that I like that Ziggler's got the belt back. Yes, I like that, but I don't like that Luke Harper. Woohoo!
Rewind.
How can I get those two muddled up?
They look so similar.
I know. It's the beard. How can Luke Harper be given an Intercontinental Championship run so quickly and so pointlessly? And I just
He's only fought Ziggler. That's it.
Yeah, I just feel that the big issue coming through this pay-per-view, and I won't touch on this too much because we'll discuss it as we go through it, but the biggest issue about the pay-per-view was the destruction of the Wyatts. I mean, this pay-per-view destroyed all of them. And yeah, I hated that. And
the stairs match was just stupid.
I will say that Luke Harper wasn't destroyed too much. He had a good match, and he will bounce back from that. But a pointless run, nevertheless. Maybe don't give him the belt in the first place until you're ready to give him a credible run.
It just seems to throw a bit of heat going into Survivor Series more than anything else, and that was it. And it's had its time, and they put him back on Ziggler. But no, I get what you're saying. And again, Rowan's, I think that's probably the most stupid match I've ever wanted to see.
How many botches were in that match?
Well, when you're mucking around with those 275-pound stairs that they told us they were, you're going to get quite a lot. I mean, he nearly killed him when he tried to do the bit off the second turnbuckle, because those stairs came down a hell of... I don't think anyone for Mensa candidate Eric Rowan's has told him how gravity works. When there are 275-pound stairs involved, because you will come down a bloody hell of a lot quicker.
I'll say to you that my biggest issue with this is that this was two big men. One could move, one couldn't, and the one that couldn't move frickin' won the match. There is absolutely, and I mean absolutely, no reason for the Big Show, and obviously we're just sort of jumping into this one, but there was no reason for the Big Show to win this match. There was no reason. What push does the Big Show need? It's coming up to Christmas. He will be the baby, and he'll be with Hulk Hogan.
No way. We got Ho Hogan. He sounds like he's going to start pimping himself.
I was going to start the show with a ho, 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 just like the Godfather says things. But then I thought, Merry Christmas sounds better, but I didn't even go there because I'm
Put this whole train back in reverse.
Woo! But getting back to business. This match, right? There was a lot of botches. The pinfall was even freaking worse. The pinfall was even worse than the New Day having a pinfall. But the
New Day.
Shut up. The pinfall was just so terrible. Putting the stairs. Yes, we know they're heavy, but even
Is
Big
it a
Show.
stairs match? I was just checking.
I mean, the wall. You get what I'm saying? The wall, the spear through the wall. Maybe it would have been better if Rowan had done it on the Big Show, because at least he would have made it look good. It looked like it hurt the Big Show more than it hurt Rowan, and it was just shit.
Out on a limb. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but. Don't tell Vince, but I've got a funny feeling we will never ever see another stairs match again.
I don't know. I mean, I did see Smack Talks post a picture of tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs, and it had Vince McMahon going up in a stair lift, which I thought was rather funny. But it was
with the natural man and the huckster.
It was just this match just annoyed me, and I feel again WWE booking wise completely wrong. Booking Eric Rowan to lose when you're trying to give this guy momentum. Tom Cushney, I listened to his review as well on TLC, and he was adamant with the same issues that I've got. Why are you pushing the Big Show still? I mean, are we all sick and tired of the Big Show? I mean, I am only
even the Big Show's tired of the Big Show.
He looks tired. Put him in the diaper. Get him as the baby.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just crap.
You want to talk about special attraction? If you're going to have a giant, that is your special attraction. He's not someone who wrestles and has lost from everyone to Rey Mysterio. As he's probably lost to Fandango.
But he's a podgy giant now.
Oh, you bitch!
But he is. It's not a special attraction. It's not.
No, but that's what a giant is. That's the only way you can have a giant in a wrestling context. Otherwise, I mean, because if he wants to punch someone and knock them out, he will knock them out. Anything other than that is unbelievable with a giant. He is a good head and shoulders taller than most people, other than Carly, now gone on the roster.
I can't believe they got rid of Carly. He's so athletic.
Yes.
I mean, that's the only thing I'm saying is Big Show. I mean, he utterly buried Rowan towards the end of that match. He destroyed him with the stairs and then he knocked him out. And I thought they could have done anything here to have kept a bit of strength for Rowan, and they really didn't. And I felt a bit sorry for him. And I like Rowan.
Well, I think you can probably forget about Rowan for a while, because I think WWE have. The only reason Show has won that match is so Reigns can destroy him at some point and look amazing. Well, as amazing as you can look.
We'll talk about Reigns. I actually did like his comeback.
No, so did I. So I was going to say that brings us quite nicely. I mean, we're not going to cover every match on the card. Don't
want to cover the Divas match, do you? Do you not?
But I don't want to annoy anyone.
I don't. I skipped it, so.
You scared? Well, there were a couple of matches where I did think, do you know, I fancy a sandwich now.
Oh, do you know, Elle's going to be so pissed if she listens.
Who was the Divas match? No, I'm only joking.
I don't know.
I actually really like Nikki. I think Nikki's great, and I think she's come on leaps and bounds in the last few months. So no, it was good to see her and Brie doing their stuff again. As I said, I'm not too fussed about. No,
was it?
Yeah, I like Nikki. I honestly think she has got a hell of a lot better.
You just like her assets.
Wrestling skills.
Can I actually? I do have something.
Bastard.
No, I have something constructive to bring to the table.
I was trying to say something constructive.
Look, one thing that's constructive about this, Brie Bella. What the fuck? I mean,
that's not constructive.
This is constructive.
That's a statement.
This is 100% constructive. How can somebody have had such an issue with her sister only to be now best buds, bosom buddies?
Bosom buddies. Than water. They told you, Dale.
Did you not
listen? Blood is thicker than water.
What about your husband?
And fake tan's thicker than blood. So bollocks to that.
It was ridiculous. And just to put a little note in there, Elle, we talked for a long period of time about Charlotte and Sasha Banks because we like the WWE women. Wrestlers. But yeah,
Weirdo.
No, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, I like women. Women.
I don't have to reassure myself of this. This is absolutely fine.
Wow, it sounds like more of a confession to me.
Look, enough of that. Anyway, back to
Where's Paige?
Where's Paige? Yeah, where is Paige? She's DLC apparently for WWE 2K15 if it ever comes out.
If you can
find her. It's like Where's Wally? I don't know. It's just crazy. Anyway,
where were we before we got sidetracked by fearless Nikki and her substantial assets of Brie?
Bosom buddies.
They are bosom buddies. Rollins versus Cena.
Right.
Obviously, I said we're not going to cover every match because as I said, did go for a sandwich in a few of these. Rollins versus Cena. What did you make of it being halfway through the card? Cena not on last again, and obviously he didn't go out third on his team this time, but not at the top of the card.
Thought it was very good.
What, that he was not the last thing on the card or the match? Or both? The both.
No. I thought it was good that he wasn't the main attraction on the card, the main event. There's no need for him to be the main event. There's no reason. Albeit that actually maybe his storyline is the bigger of the matches that were on the card because he had the number one contendership up for grabs, which many can brush over considering that Ambrose and Wyatt were given the main event. But you might just say that was their moment to grab the brass ring.
Yeah, it sounds like brass monkeys. But I was going to say, we pretty much predicted this. We were expecting a run-in. We weren't expecting two, but I think we were both expecting Orton, so it was good to see Reigns come in. I was quite worried through a lot of this match, and it did concern me that Rollins had Mercury and Noble interfering an awful lot, and I thought that would make him look weak. And I know a lot of people have already put out there that they think Rollins came off weak.
J&J.
The mall cops. Yes. I don't think this damaged Rollins at all, to be completely honest. The fact that it took Reigns eventually after they did the double table spot, which I liked. I haven't seen that for a while, so I didn't mind that.
I didn't like that.
I liked it.
Bret Hart. I didn't like that.
But I thought it was good that Reigns came out, obviously, to get rid of the Big Show, who delivered a knockout. And that was basically how Cena won, because it was Reigns into an AA, through a table, match over. Cena very much moves on towards Brock, which, I think they've got enough time over the 6 weeks to build it properly, so that would be good. And I didn't think it damaged Rollins. I think what did more damage for Rollins for me was the Ziggler beat him clean on SmackDown. But again, I'm sure we got a little bit to talk about when we were on SmackDown because I didn't quite get that. But no, I thought Rollins versus Cena. I liked the match, and I said I when we saw it at the WWE live event back in November, I liked it then.
I thought that match was better.
Yeah, well, I like the twists they put on it. And my God, did Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury take some bumps in this match?
I would have liked to have seen Roman Reigns Superman punch John Cena as well, because there's no need for him to be friends with John Cena. That's number one. That's just the way I am.
Yeah, but you'd have
told you I've been so negative today.
John Cena.
Yeah, but it's a Superman punch.
I'd love to see you. If we ever meet Cena, I bet you'd be nice as pie to him.
No.
Yeah, you would.
He's bigger than me. I mean, look.
You'd hide behind fearless Nikki, wouldn't you?
I'd hide behind any part of it. Yes,
Nikki,
of course I would. Of course I would. We'd be bosom buddies. Yes, we would. Oh, how many times has that come up today? Hashtag bosom buddies.
Excuse me? Holy shit, it's not that kind of show, people.
Enough of this double entendres, yes? And if you haven't seen it yet, we told you last week, go and check out Bottom. Right.
Innuendo.
Yes. Back to business again. Wait. Look, my biggest issue is not actually the match itself. It's to do predominantly with the pay-per-view. Is there were just too many spots. There was too many spots in the whole thing. I mean, that's the whole point of this pay-per-view, is to have spots, yes. But there's got to be some meaning to those spots. And I just thought, the tables became worthless. they were breaking tables all the
It's as
time.
good as a 2 count.
Yeah, and I just didn't like that. The reason why I didn't like the double through the table was I could just see it coming a mile off. And
but I thought they were going to leave it there. I honestly thought they were going to leave it there.
No, something.
And
had
I was
to happen.
oh no, not a double. This is why I was thinking. This is why it's in the middle of the card, because they're going to do this double decision bullshit, and then we're going to get 3 weeks while we wait for Lesnar to turn up on Raw, while these two fight out for a number 1 contendership. So when they said the match is going to continue, I nearly hit the bloody roof, not just the ceiling. I nearly went through the roof. I was like, yeah, get this stuff back on so we can actually have a proper build and get someone back in the WWE's actually going to have this championship.
I mean, when Big Boy came out, Big Show.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when he came out, I was just like, oh, God, here he comes, old slowpoke.
Well, I thought they botched the table, the announce table. I thought, is that meant to break?
No, it wasn't.
His face looked like it was meant to break.
But it was the best moment of the night, wasn't it? Michael Cole completely and utterly, as I said earlier, wiped out. But he managed
that if you get a chance.
He managed to claw his way back up to call the finish. You can't put the coal miner down. I mean, it's just so... that was the best bit. I was like, they just wiped out Cole. They just wiped out Cole. I was doing what he was doing throughout the whole night. Kept saying the same thing 3 freaking times. You know, it just... Oh, God damn
JR
it.
would have had a field day.
JR, just a quick note, I listened to one of JR's podcasts and he said that he cannot commentate in the WWE anymore for the pure reason of the way the product has gone in terms of advertising and publicity and stuff like that, in terms of the stunts that they do. He says that he couldn't commentate like that. He likes
a sales
to
and marketing degree.
Yeah,
to have to work for WWE.
And that's probably my biggest issue with the commentary team, is they're too busy selling shit. And what the hell is JBL on about again this pay-per-view? He spent...
Honestly, I think he's on drugs.
What was he talking about? What was it? Was it the main event, or was it... Oh, he kept talking. Oh no! Just a quick note. It was on the Miz match and Mizdow. He kept talking about. What was it? He kept rambling on about the Miz, the way the Mizdow kept acting. Or it was just.
About the stunt double stuff.
Oh yes! What the hell? That was what.
It's just he can't decide. None of them, other than the King, can, because he doesn't give a shit. None of them can decide whether they're heel or face. It's like they're all bipolar.
Good.
They literally don't know what day of the week it is.
That's what it's
Michael
like.
and JBL.
It's just all the time. It's good God, Michael. Have you ever seen a match like this before in your life? It's so dull.
It's not on Prozac.
It sounds like it.
But yeah, I mean, we've I suppose we went off tangent a little bit. I mean, again, I think it did for both of them what we expected. So I didn't really have any problem.
It was all right.
With Cena and Rollins, and again, I could quite happily watch it again. That match in particular. Now, Ambrose and Wyatt, very interesting. They went on last. What did you make of that?
That was fine, but I think when I look back at it, I probably...
The crowd looked dead. I'll tell you what, by this point, I was struggling, but especially as they fitted in a Rusev Swagger match just before, which was bloody pointless. So yeah, by this point, and I think these two just beat the crap out of each other, really, didn't they, to try and get over?
Do you think the reason why the crowd was dead, though, not just because of the Rusev thing, but again, like I said earlier, the amount of spots that were... I mean, there's... the one thing I'd say about this match that I thought was meaningless was the amount of times that Ambrose jumped off the ladder through the table.
I did
the
like
novelty...
the interaction he had where he said, I can't grab this ladder, this one's too big. There was a couple of times, I think he came out of it a lot better than Wyatt did.
Wyatt got squashed, I felt.
Yeah, I mean, Wyatt came away with the win, which is obviously... But no one's really going to remember that, because all I really remember is Ambrose jumping off 3 ladders, Ambrose looking at himself in the TV monitor, Ambrose being too stupid to realise that the cord's not long enough, then going back and doing it again, which I think Dave Meltzer and Stone Cold were discussing whether or not that was a botch. I didn't think it was.
Can't wait, though, for the Royal Rumble when it is Dean Ambrose versus TV monitor.
And it was just... I thought they worked. And I'll say this for absolutely everyone on this card. I thought they worked their asses off. It just goes back, like we've been saying the whole way through, is that I hate these gimmick pay-per-views, build them up properly, and have a TLC match, you know, like with Edge and Christian, where they were concertoing everyone. It actually meant something that there were going to be chairs.
Yes.
And not this bullshit that just because we got a TLC, because I like TLC, and I think a lot of us like it because they referred to it as a bloody demolition derby, so you know what you're getting going into it. But the problem is, I like a demolition derby, but I don't want to watch 8 of them.
Yeah, and the final spot of this match just felt really bizarre. Like
it was bullshit again.
And did you hear again? And I know I make reference to it because it makes the match not even feel very good. Was the commentary trying to justify why the monitor was under the ring? Like, oh, well, you don't know, JBL. How can you not know that the technicians have one just in case one of our monitors go out? How many freaking times over the years have we seen the monitors be pulled out of the table
even
only
JBL's
to never
like that
be
just
replaced?
sounds like bullshit, Cole.
Well,
I'm not even buying that.
I mean, I just sat there amazed, in awe of the utter bollocks they were talking. I mean, unbelievable. And yeah, the match as a whole was okay, but I thought, again, the spots were way overdone. And I didn't feel like it was a Bray Wyatt win. And that's why I said earlier on when we started talking about TLC, it felt that this was a real crusher for anybody that was associated with the Wyatt family. I feel they came off really bad. And I would probably say that Harper should have lost because of Ziggler, but Rowan should have won. And Wyatt should have won, but should have won in a more credible way.
I'm going to be a little bit more controversial.
Oh no!
I agree with Ziggler. I'll be quite honest. I don't really mind that Harper didn't. That Rowan. Now I'm doing it. Look, it's bloody catching. That Rowan didn't go over Big Show because I can kind of see the Big Show afterwards. You know, when it came up, it's that.
Do you want to see Big Show Reigns? Do you want to see that?
Well, it's needed for Reigns because people on the whole do not accept the Big Show. So the
Big Show
doesn't hurt anyone other than Big Show that Reigns is
the Big Show.
But do you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter at this point. All they were trying to do was build Show up as a monster again. And
it's never gonna be possible.
But it's someone for Reigns who people don't really give a shit about. The Big Show at this point, that he can go over and he's going to pretty much, I would imagine, annihilate him on Raw before they get into it, probably at the Rumble. And Wyatt, I've thought we talked about it before in our predictions, and we mentioned how important it was who won. And what they managed to do, I thought, and why I liked it, was because they took that away, that they made Ambrose really strong, and for me, he's up there with Seth for your future of your WWE in the next 2 to 3 years at the moment. And he might have lost again, but he came across really well. And I liked all the stuff that he did on the whole. But it was important that Wyatt won. And it gives another string to Wyatt's bow, like he's had before, where he's managed to scrape out of situations where he shouldn't have. So I didn't think it did Wyatt any damage. And it also showed that he can take a hell of a beating, which is another character thing. Especially if, please don't do it, but especially if they go towards Taker Wyatt at WrestleMania 31, it's another string to his bow that, you know, Wyatt can take these almighty beatings and still get up and do his stuff. So I didn't think it hurt Wyatt too much. I didn't mind the outcome of how that one went.
I don't ever think it will hurt Dean Ambrose. I just think he's too nuts, and I think everyone.
He's too off
that.
script. He's just too off. He's not WWE, and if you listen to his podcast,
I have. It was
Jericho. He says he does not like giving a WWE standard match. He likes to ad lib, and I thought one of the funniest bits, well, it wasn't meant to be funny, but just summed Ambrose up. Was when they're on the floor and he just decides to give Wyatt a kiss, which Wyatt returned with a headbutt. But I just thought that's Ambrose. And yeah, I'm getting Ambrose a little bit more in the character and how it works every week. And no, I kind of liked it. I just wish it would have been, if you wouldn't have had all the other gimmick matches, the 3 important gimmick matches in the championship belt for Ziggler, the one for Rollins and Cena, and then the TLC match with Wyatt and Ambrose would have come off a lot stronger, because you could have had the kind of roller coaster ride where you had the highs and lows. For me, Ryback and Kane did not need to have a chairs match. It was bloody stupid. They just kept hitting each other harder. Equally the same with the stairs. They didn't need a stairs match just because he happened to hit him in the head with the stairs. It had more of a build than the bloody chair match did, but it didn't make any sense. And if you don't have them like that, you don't have the problem of a dead crowd for the main event, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, Kane's a crowd killer, so
I'll leave Kane alone. He's been there in some form or another since 1994.
Some form, yeah. I mean,
yank him, not to his face.
Let's sum it up. So what I'll say to everybody listening is, let us know via the comments box below, with the 2 pay-per-views, which one you thought was better. NXT TakeOver.
They're completely different before you bloody start.
Or
poll taking.
Or WWE tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. And now, Weeds, I'll give you your view, and I'll give you mine. What was your verdict? So give me, first do NXT TakeOver out of 10, yeah? And then give me TLC out of 10. So give me what
I don't give 10s.
Well, yeah, obviously.
So I'm giving a 9 to NXT.
Yeah, go on.
And then, TLC, for what I got out of it,
4.
I would say a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, so I was going to give NXT a 9, because the basis that it can always do one better. And then TLC, I'm going to give a 4.5.
Well, I'll go with 5 then.
Only because, like I say, these pay-per-views, if you're going to have these sort of matches, you've got to make that one almighty spot work, and they just, they didn't. They just overdid it.
So, did you like the reset they did with Raw? Because I think we were both crying out for the 3-week Raw SmackDown cycle did not overly work for the pro build to TLC. So I was well happy when they reset yesterday. And I love Jericho being the guest host. I don't know what you thought about that. A proper guest host that can go work, doesn't need to work off a bloody script. Just needs to be told the direction of where he's going. And he had so much great interaction with so many people throughout the Raw. He did a little bit of everything, I thought, Jericho. Obviously, I'm a massive Jericho mark. If you check me on my Twitter, you will see pictures of Jericho post. Twitter. You will find pictures of Jericho posted all over it. But I thought it was good.
What's happened to the anonymous general manager?
He's got over as much as New Day have, and I don't think we'll be seeing him ever. Well, he's gone. I think they decided a week in, when Cena come out and cut that promo against him and basically shut the laptop, that was the end of that bullshit. And maybe it was the start of the guest host. But as I said, I like Jericho being host. What did you think of him?
I like Jericho. I like everything about Jericho. What I would say was that, do you know what I liked even more? The return of the return of the defending WWE World Heavyweight Champion Borky Laser. Yes,
he forgot his belt the first time he came out, silly bastard.
Yeah, but he didn't forget to scream, did he?
No. Do you see that shiner? Did you see that shiner that Jericho gave him with that one elbow?
Well, he looked pretty pissed.
Yeah. And I thought I did like the no selling of the code breaker. He's like, I'm not even going to let you get it on me. Bollocks.
He manhandled him. He
literally swatted him away.
I would say Lesnar's in that sort of shape now, where he's back to what he should be. When he first came in, I was really critical that he just looked a bit, out of sorts. But I feel he's now. Well, he's probably training for MMA, isn't he?
Well, I don't think he is. I don't think he's going anywhere.
No, I think he will.
There is no way. If he goes back to UFC, he can't. He's going to get paid better in WWE.
Borky.
He's going to get paid a hell of a lot better in WWE, and he doesn't need any more times to have his ass kicked and go through those training camps. I think he's quite content earning the amount of money he does in WWE, and there's a lot of contention this week of whether or not they were stop selling merchandise or whatever it's going to be. I would be surprised if he goes after WrestleMania.
Do you know what I thought was? Do you want to know something really funny? So when I looked up Raw, because I wanted to quickly see what went down, I was watching the highlight of what happened inside the cage later on, yeah? And I was
You've seen her alone.
Well, I actually thought that when I first watched it, because I wasn't paying very much attention, it was very early in the morning.
Were you half asleep?
Yes. I was watching it, and I thought he was curb stomping Brock Lesnar. And I was like, and then
Did you get quite excited?
I saw the Paul Heyman
the same.
handshake, and I was like, what the hell? Heyman's turned on Lesnar again? Flashbacks of Big Show? What?
Well, this
no
is
way. But it didn't happen.
Well, this way it didn't
All
make
make-believe.
sense with, and I'm going to start with Rollins and then probably come on to
Why
Ziggler.
is Lesnar tolerating Rollins for? Why?
It just kind of went. At the moment, it just comes across of like you're not even worthy of my time. That's what it comes across of. And the handshake was good, and I like the way they built it into SmackDown. That they actually thought, that's a bloody good idea. He's called the Architect. Let's say this was all his idea, and then they had Ziggler beat him clean. I don't get it. So they went from not hurting Rollins and protecting him in the TLC to they had Zila Warrior Princess. Xena Warrior Princess. Get rid of Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble. And then beating bloody... you can tell I'm ranting. And beating Rollins clean on SmackDown. I don't get it. I'm assuming we are moving towards a Ziggler kind of Rollins match, probably happening at some point at the Royal Rumble or the event after, which I believe is called Fastlane now, that they've got rid of Elimination Chamber.
Yay!
But because they made a big deal on SmackDown that this was the first time that Ziggler would have beaten Rollins clean. So I didn't get why they gave it away.
Would you like to tell me the name of that pay-per-view again?
WWE Fastlane. You can buy it with your very own Hot Wheels John Cena set.
Oh, shit. It's awful. No, I don't get it. Do you know, I'm struggling to understand the whole positioning of those two, because Rollins is like jumping up and down. Like
Katy Perry. They're up, then they're down. They're in, then they're out.
No way did you just reference a Katy Perry song on We Talk?
Yeah, I did. I hate Katy Perry, so I thought I'd give it a go.
We have zero credibility now you've done this.
I didn't have any before, so fine.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't know. That's what I'm like with that whole situation. And as I say, with Brock Lesnar as well, the big issue here is it all feels like it's maybe fallen into place for Rollins to cash in at some point. But
it's like they've forgotten about Cena.
But it's a problem because they're not doing it very well. Like you say, Rollins doesn't get over when he loses clean. And it's like 1 minute, oh yeah, well, Rollins is the man, shake his hand. Next minute, no, he's lost.
Well, the only reason I could see them doing it this way, maybe on SmackDown, where they had Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble being basically thrown out, him shouting at them as they're being thrown out and then being rolled up by Ziggler, so would be that he's going to get rid of them at some point.
Oh no, what are they going to do now?
Well, maybe you could have the Big Show be his bodyguard. No. But maybe they're going to do something with Heyman and Rollins.
I don't want to see that.
But this is what we've talked about before, and maybe it's going to happen. But other than that, I don't really get why you do this, other than you're going to put Rollins over a little bit more heat, that he's going to effectively punish the Stooges for affecting his loss. I do. They're not the mall cops.
Commentary team.
They're not the New Rockers. They are the New Stooges. And I would like it. It would be good. Another bit of Rollins' character if he got really pissed off with them and literally just took out all his frustration on them. Next week had like a 2-on-1 handicap or something like that, and just beat the piss out of them. And then obviously they fall back in line and become his security team again after they've had their dressing down. But you see, that's a wrestling angle I'm thinking of there.
I don't want to see them getting beat down.
But they no. But look, just stop.
Why would you do that?
Because you have to do these things sometimes. These little minions.
No.
You've never seen Despicable
Only
Me?
little.
You never seen Despicable Me?
Yeah.
No, of course you haven't. You haven't got any children.
You've seen it enough times, then I gather.
Mate, it's basically on rewind and a DVR'd into my brain the whole time. I can basically quote that film.
We can call you the Minion Man.
I am the Minion Man.
I am the Minion Man.
Don't. This has been our random... we haven't had a random We Talk like this for a while.
Well, this is what
There's
happens.
been too much to cover.
This is when you watch so much wrestling, it just has mass overload. You know, I mean, yeah, Raw was okay. I thought it was all right. I thought it was over. This is actually, it was almost like the whole wrestling week that we've had, and more so, felt like a high, then a low, then a slight rise, and then a peak. Because we're very quickly, I guess we can quickly touch on this.
One more point.
Go. Whoa.
One more point.
Oh.
I like SmackDown.
Do you?
It was live, and it was a 2-hour wrestling event. It made a lot more sense having a 2-hour live wrestling event.
Is it too much wrestling though? Because it's almost like, you know,
I don't mind
Monday,
doing 2 hours
Tuesday.
because then you can fit in the right amount of stuff. It's that third bullshit hour of Raw that just doesn't work, and it just dies a slow death. It's as long as a pay-per-view, and if I'm struggling at the end of a pay-per-view, I'm going to be struggling at the end of the Raw. Please continue.
So we were going down to TLC, and then we come back up a little bit Raw, and then we get to the top because we went to an FPW show. Again, we've already been once before in Carshalton, and
that's in England.
Yes,
for anyone listening outside of the UK.
And the evening event that we went to was awesome. We got to see some great wrestling. I have posted some videos on my Instagram where we got to see Alberto Del Rio.
I was going to say, it sounded like you opened a window. Jeez. Got echo in there.
Yeah, we got to see Alberto Del Rio, and he faced Marty Scurll in the main event, or Marty Scurll, and it was wicked. I mean, that main event, I'm already talking about the main event first, but it was wicked. Great wrestling. We got to see Grado,
which was my favourite thing on the show.
Which was awesome. I mean, most people use thumbtacks when they're trying to add some damage to their opponent. Grado uses Doritos.
And not just any Doritos. I think I could smell a whiff of Cool Original.
Cool Original Doritos. He peppered the ring with Cool Original Doritos, and then decided
he worked a little bit of everything, didn't he?
Decided
a little bit of comedy.
Well, he hit the rock bottom on El Ligero on the Doritos.
He destroyed him.
Nailed it.
And the Doritos.
And I have not been able to get Grado's theme song out of my head all week. I mean, it's Madonna. What's the song?
Either. It's Like a Prayer.
Like a Prayer. And if you haven't seen it, then I'd say probably Google or YouTube the ICW event that he was at, where he comes out as Gradoberg, because it's just brilliant. But the FPW show, he came out and he was thoroughly entertaining. We had Shah Samuel. He's one of my favourites.
He is my
winner.
Winner, loser, as you called him.
He went,
no, winner.
And we also, who else did we get to see? They had the tag team tournament, which was very, very good.
They had 2 matches because we went to an afternoon show as well, and the evening one the ending was brilliant. They had Dave Mastiff.
I shook his hand in the toilet.
Awkward. What, were you sharing a cubicle or what the
fuck? Continue.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say, mate, to be completely honest with you.
It's Big Dave.
It's getting worse.
Yeah, I know.
Big Dave in the toilet. Holy.
Could be worse. Could have bumped into Chris Masters, couldn't I?
Yeah, well, he was there.
He was there.
The Master Lock challenge.
If you had cocked up the saying there and said something else, he had a master something else, this could have been really bad for us.
I don't know. I wasn't in the toilet with Dave Mastiff.
No, you wasn't. You was in with Chris Masters, performing the Master Cock. Oh, sorry, got it wrong. This is the best show ever.
This is descending into chaos.
Yeah, so we did see Chris Masters there as well. Who else did we see?
Martin Stone. He was obviously in part of the Fatal 4-Way where Grado came out as the number 1 contender for the FPW Championship.
Yeah.
That was great. I mean, who else was on it? Rob Terry, Davey Boy Smith's son Harry.
Yes.
He was there.
Drew Galloway, probably.
Who was brilliant.
He was absolutely brilliant. He was awesome to see. And
who was there was some idiot there chanting free MB, free MB. If you're going to do that, just bugger off, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. I mean, the best bit about the FPW event was, again, wrestling. So we talked at the start of the show about NXT, and the FPW event didn't disappoint either. We thoroughly enjoyed all the wrestling. We saw Catherine Miller there as well from Wrestle Talk TV as well. She was floating around. So, I mean, it was just a really quality evening and day of wrestling. And after the show, we got to see Alberto Del Rio as well. Well, sort of, Weeds.
Which was cool. No, I had to shoot off because, unfortunately, I do not live up the road from Carshalton some of us do. Some of us have to get a couple of trains home. So I had to bolt for the door for my my 2-hour trip home. But no, it's fantastic. And I would imagine, we both want to book already, don't we, to go back for FPW event I think it's February 8th or 7th or 8th, which is Reloaded, which I think they've even got their own version of the 30-man Royal Rumble, haven't they?
That would be awesome.
Obviously, we're only going back for Grado
to obviously become champ, isn't it?
Oh, I can't wait. It's brilliant. And I actively encourage anyone who has got local wrestling, and if you are in Scotland, and I'm assuming you all know about ICW, because anytime I've seen it, it just looks fantastic. And we didn't make it to the show that they had in London last summer, but I mean, anything, we go to most things, don't we, that are run down here. So yeah, if they come back down here, I think we both said we will do our utmost, barring being not in the country, to go and attend. We'll be trying to attend as much as possible, because at the end of the day, we like NXT, we like FPW, we like wrestling. I
think I'll add on that note is that if you do get to go and see any British wrestling show, make sure you do, because a lot of these guys have been around for a while, and you know they're absolutely awesome. The gimmicks, the characters that have been built, and I really don't think you get these superstar attractions. You get your Alberto Del Rio on the event, which is great to see, but ultimately for us, we just thoroughly enjoy seeing the great British talent that we've got here, the homegrown talent, because it's absolutely awesome at the moment. I think British wrestling is literally buzzing at the moment.
No, and again, like I said, can't wait for the next one. Obviously, Rockstar Spud's going to be on it, but the two I want to see the most are Shah Samuels and Grado.
Winners!
He's fantastic.
Guys,
check out some of his promos with Grado as well. If you can stomach the swearing.
Everyone can. I would say, guys, if you do want to catch some pictures from the event and stuff, I said it earlier, go on my Instagram at Delzinski and follow me, and you'll always get pictures from the events that I go to. And you've got some videos there. You've got Alberto Del Rio kicking Mighty Skull's head off, and you've got Grado just being Grado. So go and check all that out. Absolutely awesome. Follow us as well on Twitter. Do you want to do the Chris Jericho version of it?
Twitter. I don't even know what that was.
What the hell was that?
I don't know what's right. I'm ill.
That was weird, Weeds.
It's been a long day.
If you want to follow us,
it's been a long week.
It has been a long week. If you want to follow us on Twitter, then or Twitter, that was even worse. Follow at Weeds_world, and then follow.
It's me because it's got Jericho pasted all over it. Obviously,
he loves the Chris Jericho. He loves him.
And I'm assuming yours has got Finn Balor pasted all over it at the moment.
Kind of has, yeah. And
tell me I'm wrong.
and my Twitter picture is not Corey Graves before people mistakenly take it. It's not. It's my created superstar dashing Delzinski. Yeah, and mine is at Delzinski. Crystal clear, obvious, just to clean up any mishaps that have happened. Don't know what they are. Anyway, yes, so that kind of brings us to a close. I mean, it's been a jam-packed week of wrestling, and there's plenty more to come. So, guys, get involved via the comments box below. Let us know your views on NXT TakeOver, tables, ladders, chairs, and Weeds. What else was it?
Stairs.
Oh, well done. And also as well, if you do want any information about FPW events, let us know and we'll try and point you in the right direction. I'll probably leave some links in the description box below. Yes, Weeds, you got anything else to say before we sign out?
No, I'm going for a lay down now somewhere. It's been a long week, mate. Until next time, guys. Yes. Have a good week and we will catch you next week.
Yep, see you later.